Happy snowy Sunday. It's snowing here. Sunday, we're in Wooddale. Lovely Wooddale. Taking a look at a house. Even though it's snowing, it's not too cold out. It's a nice snow. It's light snowfall. Clearly it's not sticking on the ground. Here's your street. This would be your neighborhood. Very nice, quiet street. You have some townhouses right across from you. And you're very close. Dang, look at that house in the corner. Ouch. Hey, we'll stay loyal to this house. I'm not not gonna show you the neighbors. Yeah, so that's your front door. Hey, there's my Mazda across the street. The old Reliable. You know what's funny about that car? I make fun of it a lot because it's I have a lot of car issues with it, and I make fun of it. The funny thing is, I didn't even know how to drive that car when I bought it. I don't think I've ever shared that story. So that car is a stick shift. It's a manual car. You have to put your hand on the stick shift and change gears whenever you're driving. And I did not know how to drive that car when I bought it. At that time, my ex's brother, he got a company car, and so that was the car that he still had when he got out of college, if I'm remembering correctly. And he's like, hey, do you want to buy my car from me? It's in good condition, blah, blah, blah. At that time, I used to work in Rockford. So I was driving back and forth from Rockford to Bensenville every single day. So the car I just had a ton of mileage. It was starting to have issues and act up. And I was like, well, I'm only really going to pay out of pocket $1,000 for this car. So, you know what, why not? It's got like 50,000 less miles than my current car. I think $1,000 is worth that. So I bought it, and I didn't know how to drive it. And oh my gosh, I had so much anxiety first driving that car to work, and I would practice driving to the grocery store. It was rough. It was rough. The funny thing is, like, when I think about it, do you guys ever think about things growing up and you see some characteristics of who you think you really are in tidbits? Like, I think about that story, and recently in my life I've become more adventurous and been more outgoing, but I was always introverted, quiet, reserved. I always think to myself, but when I think of stories like that, I'm always like, hey, maybe I was always this way and I was just hiding it. Maybe I was just hiding myself, covering myself up. But I was always sort of adventurous. Nobody buys a stick shift car without knowing how to drive it. And they just say, hey, yeah, you know what? Why the hell not? Let's give it a shot. Who does that, So maybe think back about sometimes you growing up and think of good characteristics. Of course, it's going to be good qualities of yourself that sometimes surprise you. But I'm sure you can think of some good qualities of yourself that you can think back and say, I was really always this way. Even though I didn't believe it, maybe I was always funny. Maybe I was always charismatic. Maybe I was always focused, detailed, organized, whatever it is. But you don't believe it for some reason. But you find examples like I did where you're like, maybe I was this way. And I just hid it all along. Anyway, there's your nice Sunday story over here in Wooddale. Enjoy your snowy Sunday. I think yesterday they dyed the river, so I'm sure a lot of you probably were drinking and enjoying yourself. So hopefully you're recovering today, taking a nice Sunday, staying indoors, have a blanket, curl up, watch the season finale of Last of Us. It's on tonight. It's going to be a good one if you haven't played the game. Enjoy your Sunday. If you have any questions about buying a house, moving, selling, buying, investing, shoot me a message. I'll be happy to answer any questions you have. Otherwise, have an amazing Sunday. Rest and get ready for the week.